I've been living in South Korea for over 10 years now, and it wasn't until a couple days ago that I discovered a restaurant that only sells North Korean food or North Korean style food. I knew that there were some restaurants that sold a lot of South Korean food and that would have some North Korean dishes on their menu, but I never found a restaurant that only sells North Korean food exclusively. Apparently it's not that common, but there are places around Seoul that you can find them. And I heard that some of them might be run by defectors from North Korea, and some of them might just be, South Korean chefs recreating dishes based on traditional northern recipes. Obviously, if you didn't know, North Korea and South Korea were once the same country until it got divided a while ago. And I think all of these dishes that I ordered today, you can find them in both North and South Korea. I mean, it originated in the same Korea, but it might have been, separated by, regional styles of food. They're based on similar things. If you look at it, you might even say they look the exact same, but they're made with different ingredients and made with different preparation techniques. It's kind of like American barbecue. It's very regional. It's different where if you go to Texas or Kansas City or the Carolinas or Alabama or Memphis or wherever you go, Kentucky, it's always going to be a little bit different. Overall, Northern cuisine or now North Korean cuisine tends to be milder. It's less flavorful, less spicy, or maybe not spicy at all, and more natural flavors for sure. So I paid 58 bucks for everything in this bag. It's a very hefty bag, by the way. And 58 bucks, I mean, that's pretty wild to think about because I did a little research. I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate. We may never know, but this could cost the average person in North Korea about 3 years' salary to get everything I'm getting right here, which is not all that much. I'm not going to be able to give you the best presentation for these two middle things, but I will take my other camera and give you a pretty good look at what I'm working with. Let me do that right now. Starting on the left here, we have nokdu pindaetok, which is kind of like a Korean pancake. A little bit different style than maybe the ones you've seen before. It's made out of mung beans, and I'm not sure exactly what else is in there, but it looks pretty good, to be honest with you. Next up, we have probably the most famous thing. This is Pyongyang naengmyeon. Pyongyang is the capital of North Korea. You might have heard of it as Pyongyang, but yeah, this is very popular with the younger generation these days. I have had this once or twice in my life before, but not for many, many years, so that'll be interesting to give it a third try. I didn't really like it the second time I tried it, so we'll see. Over here, we have something I've never tried in South or North Korea. Never been to North Korea, but this right here is Hanu Suyu. It's basically boiled thinly sliced beef. I didn't know it was going to come in a broth like that, but that looks pretty interesting. And last but not least, we have some dumplings, North Korean style dumplings. They can be a little bit different than South Korean style dumplings, and they do look a little bit different right off the bat. And I feel like you will get a good glimpse of these and these when I'm filming, but these two, I don't have the right bowls to put these in. I'm sorry. I'll try to keep my other camera set up like this so maybe we can flip-flop back and forth a little bit. But let me start off with this right here. This is pindaetok. And it's a Korean pancake that I like. I've only had this a couple of times in my life, but I prefer this to the other style of jeon. You might have seen pajeon or haemul pajeon or kamjajeon. When you think of Korean pancakes, you don't really see these too often. This is more of I heard old people like this more, but I every time I've had it, I really like it because of how crispy it is. The difference between this pindaetok and South Korean pindaetok is that this is supposedly more rustic, so maybe less stuff in it. But I don't know. Let's take a bite. Super crispy. Man, I heard it actually might be softer and not as crispy. But I really like that. Sometimes these can be made with pork. At least here in South Korea. I'm not sure if they do that as much in North Korea. I don't really detect any, but it has a nice flavor, and the crispiness, the texture is just out of this world. Sometimes you get South Korean style jeon, I guess, which is typically a lot flatter and wider. But you ain't getting that crisp. That's for damn sure. I like that a lot, man. They did give me some dipping sauces, basically one. And I'm not sure if this is for the dumplings or this. It looks like a little pepper infused soy sauce of some sort. Let's give it a dip. To the lip. I don't really know what mung beans taste like, but I don't really care because this tastes good. Yeah, you can kind of see some strands. Let me see, some of these are the bean sprouts or something. All I know is if you like frittery type of stuff like this, you're gonna probably like it. It's not offensive in any way. And not bland at all either, especially if you dip it in this sauce. That is one thing that North Korean food, or just typically even before the division, northern food in Korea tended to be, more mild, very earthy, and in some cases musty. This is where this comes in. This is the most famous one, like I said, Pyongyang naengmyeon, and the 1 or 2 times I've had this, every time I'm like, damn, that's way too musty for me. I don't even like it. The stuff in South Korea is very, it's like tangy, it's like sweet, it's got ice in it. That's another difference I heard, that this is not icy, and it's might not even be that cold. It might be more like room temperature, we'll have to see. But you can see, a little bit of veg. Here's some eggs and some meat in here, radish. But you don't see any ice particles at all. So that's a big difference between South Korean and North Korean stuff. And also, this is a lot of buckwheat. High percentage of buckwheat flour in these noodles. So yeah, this is very minimalistic right here. Let's give it a shot. That tastes like water. This tastes like absolutely nothing. The meat tastes all right. Very just bare bones meat flavor in there. But the broth, I mean, I have a hard time even calling this a broth. I think it's more, I don't know, it seems quite diluted. I think this is a pretty famous place, by the way. That being said, they did give me a couple more things that I think, traditionally, I know in Korea, or South Korea, you do add something like vinegar and maybe some hot mustard, spicy mustard to it. I'm not exactly sure how common that is to do in North Korea, but I think I might try it because I already analyzed the entire flavor profile of this. It's not musty like I remember. It's super clean. It's too clean. Like I detect zero salt, almost like zero seasoning. It's almost like they took like maybe some diluted, bone broth, and that's it. It is cold. It's colder than room temperature, but not icy cold like the South Korean stuff. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna add some of this. They didn't really give me much. I think I did a lot of research, and who knows, maybe no one will ever know how authentic this is, how they actually eat. At least these days. I mean, because I don't know. I know there are a lot of defectors, or there were. I think it's really declining these days. Vinegar and mustard going in. Give it a little mix. I mean, it is a lot of noodles though, and I'm guessing that only privileged people are eating this kind of stuff. That makes it way better. I was honestly coming into this video expecting to crap on this, but it's better than I remember. Maybe every place does it a little bit different. But it doesn't have that musty kind of mothball flavor that I remember at all. It's just super bland. Really good addition. I think it needed the mustard and the vinegar for sure. And it probably needs more meat. But I believe the meat they're using is just literally the meat over in this one over here, the suyuk. This is Hanu suyuk, or Korean beef suyuk, which is thinly sliced brisket meat that has been boiled. I didn't know they would give it to me in a broth, which is, this is actually like lukewarm. So let me try out some of this meat right here. Looks pretty good. That is good. Really good meat. Hanu is usually pretty damn good every time, no matter what form factor you're eating it. Korean beef. Maybe not to the level of, you know, some of the Japanese beef they're doing over there, Kobe, Wagyu. Like there's a lot of like spring onions or green onions cut up in here, and that's about it. The base, right off the bat, has a lot more flavor than the base of this. I kind of thought they would recycle the base and use, I think that would have automatically made this a lot better if they had a little bit more of that beef essence in this one, the naengmyeon, the noodles. It is what it is. What I do kind of want to try to do is get a good meaty and noodly bite with this one. So I'm transferring some meat over here. I actually really like that. I like that a lot. And we have a good amount of meat in here too. It does taste really mild. There's no spice to it whatsoever on anything so far. But it tastes so wholesome, simple, minimalistic, and natural. I would be surprised if there's any additives, because you don't need additives to make something already taste mild, right? Not something that I would look for every day. Definitely not. But if I'm looking for, you know, a day where I'm trying to get some good, you know, meat in my system, and you know, stay away from all the extra salt or MSG or whatever else is in there, yeah, this might be a good go-to. Meat is very tender and delicious, under-seasoned compared to what I'm used to, but it's just that pure beef essence. I mean, boiled beef, no sear. Pure beef essence. I like that. And I probably maybe shouldn't do this. I don't want to disrespect anybody, but yeah. I don't want to get hunted down, basically. But if you dip this into the soy sauce mix, just a piece of meat, I feel like that might be fire. It is, to me. Ah, I forgot. They also gave us a kimchi before I get into the final dish that I ordered. I did not order kimchi. I did not expect it. I heard it was different than the stuff that's typically eaten down here. I didn't look into why though, because I didn't expect it to arrive on my doorstep here, but let's give it a try. Very watery. Smells slightly different too. It's like water kimchi. There's a ton of water in there. And similar flavor profiles. I feel like if you gave this to someone, the average person, and they tried it, they'd say, it tastes like kimchi. But there's something that is definitely off if you had enough kimchi. It's the texture, it's the flavor. I would say it's more tangy than what I'm used to, but less fermented. So far, I gotta say, I am quite surprised. All right, moving on to the last thing. This is mandu, or dumplings. the Korean word for dumplings. Apparently these are bigger and they have a thicker wrapper. They might include minced pork, mung bean sprouts, tofu, chives, cabbage, or maybe less. It doesn't look that much bigger or any bigger at all, but the wrapper does seem a little bit thicker, and I heard it's a little bit more chewy. These appear to be steamed or boiled, or probably steamed, going in. Damn. That's pretty fire, man. I love mandu or dumplings with a thicker and chewier wrapper. Sometimes the stuff in Seoul is too thin. And giving it a dip in this little soy sauce mix. I almost prefer these to most dumplings I've had in South Korea. Just because of the texture. I could try to take a bite and show you what's inside, or maybe just pull one apart. Yeah. So take your best guess. I don't know. It's always hard to tell looking inside of a piece of dumpling like this. But it does appear to have potentially everything I listed earlier there. In a nice, chewy, thick wrapper. Loving that. This meal right here, I would say could easily feed 2 people. And I think I would love to do that one day. I think this would be good on a pretty warm day, because you have a pretty cold soup right here with the noodles, the naengmyeon, straight from Pyongyang, and everything's so light. You know, even if it's a little bit hot, you're not getting, you know, weighed down too much. So let me go ahead and try a couple more combinations. I was so tempted when I first took that bite of this dumpling. I immediately wanted to throw it right into this beef soup right here. And I don't know if I mentioned earlier that this right here, you can find this in South Korea as well. I don't know exactly the exact difference, whatever. The exact differences of this compared to the stuff you can get in South Korea. Maybe the dipping sauce that you dip it in, maybe the broth that it's in, maybe the thickness that it's sliced in. But even doing some research in the Korean websites, couldn't find a lot of info. But yeah, by far these noodles right here are the most popular. And I am actually, if I only got this by itself, I would be disappointed. But adding this meat to it, I'm not sure if this is what you're supposed to do. It's probably not. Don't come after me, man. But this, I really F with this. In a weird, strange way. What I really want to do, this might be complete blasphemy, and I don't really want to mix everything up. I don't think I'll be able to eat everything, so I kind of want to save it as it is. But I really want to put some of these noodles into this slightly warmer broth, slightly more flavorful broth, and then add some dumplings into that too. I think that would be really good, but you know, I'm not here to try my own fusion. To be fair, I'm here to try North Korean food. So you might be like, what's going on here? Yeah. But originally these pieces were in there. They only gave me like 2 of these beef slices in this originally, so I think this is still fair. And even though this is fried, this seems clean as well. And man, all my expectations are completely getting blown out of the window here. Here's also best BenDeen duck I've ever had. crispiest by far, and I think probably the thickest as well. Next up, the Pyongyang naengmyeon is by far the best that I've tried personally. I'm not a connoisseur, so I don't have that much to compare to, but it's still the best I've had. I would prefer South Korean style naengmyeon, which is more icy, tangy, maybe not so spicy, maybe sweeter. It's more flavorful. I think I prefer that over this. Although, if I had the choice between a regular serving of South Korean naengmyeon, mul naengmyeon, I should say, or this North Korean naengmyeon with extra meat, if that could be an option, I probably prefer this. This really blew my socks off. The meat in this was really good. And I think I done ate it all. And it's basically just broth with green onions left in here, so I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with that. Maybe concoct my own stew later. But, and yeah, these dumplings, man, I kind of prefer, no, I'm not gonna front. I legitimately prefer these over a lot, or maybe 90% of the mandu or dumplings I've had in South Korea. I just love the wrapper. Again, I've said that a lot. It gives me that nice chew to the texture I'm looking for, man. And one more thing I should state, which I think maybe was already made clear, maybe not. You know, if you go around North Korea, not everyone's eating like this, I assume. And also, North Korea is a whole country with different regions. Like even South Korea, some of the food up here in Seoul is way different than it is down by the coast. You know what I mean? So North Korea, you can't say that these are eaten everywhere in North Korea. Maybe it's more of a regional thing. You know, that could be the case that I'm just not that educated on. I haven't been behind those lines, so I couldn't really tell you. And again, I don't know how authentic this is. Maybe they put a South Korean twist on this, but I think that this is a super popular place. It has 4.9 review with over 100 ratings, and people love this place. I think it's a popular spot. I can give you the name. I think there's multiple locations. So if you were ever traveling in, oh, there's a hair. Oh, there's a hair in here. And that definitely ain't mine because I've been wearing this beanie. That really bites. But other than that, this meal was great. I would give it like a 8.7 out of 10, to be honest with you. And if you're ever in Korea, like I said, I don't think there are that many of these, you know, North Korean restaurants that only sell North Korean food out there. But there are a handful in Seoul and around Korea. So search one out if you're interested in it, because even if you don't have a reference point and you haven't had the South Korean style one, it's still kind of cool to say you eat North Korean food. I feel like that's how I'm feeling right now. And I imagine that, like I said, I hear stories that a lot of people are eating bugs, you know, and maybe rats and stuff. So, you know, I know this would probably be reserved for the wealthy or the elite up there, but, you know, only less than 100 years ago, this stuff could have been enjoyed by everyone once, or most people, when it was just one country. You know what I mean? I don't have anything political to say about the issue, but the food's good, and I recommend it. So that's about it for this video. I'm skating out of here. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.